I haven't had issues with Puffy. I don't like him like that. Like I don't like things that you do.
Right.
It make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy. We're speaking on Puff.
Yeah. Okay. But I don't have that thing where I like, well, we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him. Like, if it was on the street side like that, we would be acting, doing things to each other.
There was no sound in the courtroom. Time seems to be holding its breath in that kind of quiet that seeps into the bones. Everyone sat motionless. Security guards, lawyers, reporters, and fans packed into the rear rows.
Here, Daphne Joy is rumoured, after having a baby with 50 Cent and clearly being loved up with him once upon a time, later went with 50's arch nemesis Diddy and became a freak-off girl. That is so dark, man. She knows fine well she has a baby with a man who hates Diddy. I think there was a falling out between her and 50. She's getting revenge. Diddy's getting revenge on 50. But you know who's laughing now, don't you? As usual, the man who always seems to have the last laugh, 50 Cent. You see, 50 posted a picture of Jane Doe where the face is rubbed out because they're not allowed to say who it really is on his Instagram, and then on the next slide said, I wonder who it could be, and posted a picture of his baby mama, Daphne Joy. Now, we don't know for sure if it's Daphne Joy, but I think 50's a pretty reliable source on this, considering. Oh, and they're now posting pictures of 50 taking photographs of her, and it makes him look like he was proper loved up with her. That's awkward. Apparently Jason Derulo was once with her as well. Jason Derulo! This girl has been around. And since I last did a video on this, a few things have happened. The security guards who worked at the hotel where the CCTV footage showed Diddy beating up Cassie said, we were bribed. Yeah. No shit, of course they were. We already knew that. We had this lovely little lady here, Brianna Bongolan, testify against Diddy recently, and she said that I was hung over a balcony by Diddy, fearing for my life. She basically admitted she had a friendship with Cassie, whereby Cassie would use Diddy's money and give it to her, she'd go and get them drugs, and that Cassie was a drug addict and she was a drug addict as well. Lovely friendship. Now, the problem with the balcony incident is that her and Cassie's accounts of what happened that day did not match up. Brianna's allegation was that Diddy stormed into the 17th floor apartment, grabbed a hold of her, and held her over the 17th floor railing. She said that Cassie was asleep in the apartment during the incident and only emerged after the event had happened. Bearing in mind, these girls are friends. Cassie, on the other hand, said that she actually woke up during the incident and witnessed Diddy holding her over the balcony and pulling her back over the railing. She didn't mention being asleep or initially hearing Diddy enter the building, which is problematic, right? Because these girls were friends and their stories just don't add up. Brianna also came up with a story about how Cassie had a knife thrown at her by Diddy and that Cassie threw it back at Diddy. This was something that Cassie never ever even mentioned. Under cross-examination, Brianna couldn't recall any of the specifics, the location, etc., all the important details, and it just come across like she made it up. And obviously, if you're making something up, calls it to question your entire story, especially when your mate has given a different account of it, whereby maybe you've come up with a story together and you haven't got it straight, and then later it just isn't holding up in court. And the main issue with the balcony incident is that it happened allegedly in LA. The problem is the defense lawyers of Diddy come up with the receipts, literally, to show that he was buying room service in New York at the time. Now, people have said maybe he could have got a private jet there and all of that, but again, his bank statements say he was somewhere else. And when the Diddy lawyer put it on her and went, you lied, didn't you? You lied. And she was like, I can't agree with you. And even just hearing that, you're like, I can't agree with you. Like, if someone's calling you a liar, you don't go, I can't agree with you. That sounds like, you're right, but I can't agree right now because I'm on the fucking stand here and I don't want to be called out for lying under oath.
It was a fallen gavel. They had read the verdict. And then the razor-sharp edge of justice collided with a lifetime of empire, intimidation, infamy, and fear. A not-guilty verdict on paper. Diddy, once the king of an industry based on deceit, intimidation, and power, stood silent. However, the real bombshell which didn't come from the judge came before the relief could subside and his hyperist legal team could start their quiet celebration. The prosecution did not provide it. 50 Cent was the source. Because 50 Cent did what he always does in the hours after the verdict. Even as Diddy's name was trending and his attorneys started their methodical parade of media statements, he changed the course of events. However, he didn't merely post a petty caption or a meme this time. No one anticipated the truth bomb he dropped. An industry-shaking secret that was so perverse and unsettling, it burned it. Diddy lost it, all as he witnessed what 50 had unleashed, shattering his facade, in public as well as privately. Because 50 revealed more than just a joke.
The reality is, there's a lot of just witnesses who've showed up and just been shit. For me, as much as, you know, what they're accusing him of is bad, their overall picture has a lot of holes in a lot of the time. Now, back to 50 Cent's baby mama, who took the stand for the last few days, and it went deep. Here she is here, looking good. I can't lie, she's a fucking... I mean, Diddy's got a type, hasn't he? Like, without a doubt. She looks a lot like Cassie. Bit thicker, which I'm not mad at, I'll be honest with you. So a lot of this popped off when Lil Rod, the producer, filed a lawsuit against Diddy in February for making unwanted sexual contact with him and forcing him to hire prostitutes. He named Daphne Joy in the suit as one of several women who accepted a monthly amount of money to work as a sex worker for Diddy. Now, she came out and said the allegations were completely false and a character assassination. Now, the issue is there's pictures of her and Diddy together, and 50, he has a tweet from him, I think. You moved a mile away in hopes of having another baby with me, but I was busy, so you moved back, and then you started receiving money from Brother Love. Now, here we are, little sex worker. The guy, oh God, 50 kills me, man. And then, obviously, he's posting more stuff, like a picture of him and his son together, which is son's a cute boy, bless him. And God, it does feel fucked up that the kid's involved in this whole weird ass situation. But obviously, as this is going on, he's just tweeting pictures out of him and the son looking with the caption, "What the fuck?" And then 50 Cent took further shots at his ex-girlfriend, tweeting, "I didn't know you was a sex worker. You little sex worker. Lol." Fucking hell. Now, surprisingly, she didn't take it so well, and she responded by saying that he'd only seen their son 10 times over the last 2 years, which, if true, is shocking. You know, I hope that's not true. And then it got really bad, because then she said, "And you've also physically abused me and sexually attacked her," without using the R word, because YouTube's fucking mental. Now, 50 responded by saying that the allegations are false and baseless, and claimed that Joy made them allegations because 50 is fighting for full custody of their son, who was 11 years old. 50 made further comments at a show. Apparently, he said something like, "She said I love you. I said I love you back, even if you are a little sex worker." He really knows the right thing to say to piss people off, doesn't he? And look, apparently he went after her legally on those allegations, and she deleted the post at a later date. The little sex worker. No, I'm joking. So let's get on to what Jane Doe, as she's being known as in court, said when she took the stand. Now, Jane started off by saying that she fell head over heels in love for Diddy. Now, a lot of you lot might be skeptical of that, you know, but for me, I'm inclined to believe her, because she then said, "And that is why we set up 10 grand a month to go into my bank from Diddy's bank, where I'm at his beck and call to shag him whenever he wants." That's what love is to me. I give you money, you give me sex. That's love. To be fair, a lot of relationships aren't a million miles from that, but it was just so not love to me. How much did he wire you? 10 grand. We started using the L word. He told me he was seeing multiple women. I was okay with it. Why? I liked him. Did you have the sense that you had the option of a monogamous relationship? No. So she knew he's going to fuck other women, and you have to be there for him. And you're getting paid for that in 10 grand a month for the rent.
The myth of Diddy's innocence was the direct target of this surgical strike. It began with a little video upload. It initially appeared to be a parody, a low-resolution video with Diddy's visage heavily staged over an unsettling setting. He was surrounded by men dressed alike, dancing in a silk robe that was dripping with baby oil. A fake line of Dodie baby oil was used to brand them all from head to toe. Before the caption changed the meaning of the video, it was ludicrous and foolish. "It's not over yet for the feds. Do you guys believe that this was solely about and music contracts? Watch what they discovered during the raid." The internet then burst into activity, because underlying the laughs lay a cruel, humiliating truth bomb that many believed to be just another 50 Cent troll post. Something strange had been subtly leaked by law enforcement sources during the FBI raid on Diddy's several properties. A few days prior, something not included in the formal court filings, Diddy's mansions had secret storage areas where thousands of bottles of baby oil had been seized.
Kim Porter.
Yeah, Kim Porter and my ex, they, and I'd been around them in, so some social situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Well, weren't you telling me that when you guys were hanging out, Diddy was calling her like 100 times?
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I think I mentioned it one other time. It was a time where it seems like he was really trying to get back with her, and he had no shame. He was very, see, that's weird to me. It's almost like that Tupac situation that I hate talking about. But like the cat that I encountered is nothing like the dude that you see publicly. Like, it's like a whole different thing. I'm seeing this vulnerable dude trying to get back with his lady, and there's no bravado, no toughness, no ego or whatever. And it's almost like in this world, it's like, I don't know, I feel like all my celebrity people that, not friends and just acquaintances, it's almost like there's a persona that they're playing this role publicly, but privately they're different people.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I interviewed, his ex-bodyguard, Roger Bonds. And he said that there were, like, I think multiple occasions where, Diddy would drag him to Kim Porter's house. They'd wait outside the house for like 6-7 hours. Just waiting outside the house like it's a full-time job.
Right, yeah.
And like, Roger was like, yo, Puff, like, we're going to get arrested like for stalking. He's like, no, I pay the rent here. It's my place. They can't arrest me for stalking. And he's like, I know she's in there. I know she's in there. Knocking on the door, ring the doorbell, knocking on the window. No one shows up.
Yeah,
just waiting hour after hour. That's obsessive behavior.
Yeah, I feel like people don't really change much.
Yeah.
You're who you really are.
Yeah.
When it's like I see that so consistently that once you drop that persona, you're you. And then sometimes that persona can really screw you up real bad if you start buying into the image that you're projecting. That can screw you up. I'm sorry, I just don't see nobody who's got that ego or that persona thing who's happy, doing that for so long.
Yeah, it's funny. Roger was telling me about this one time, because 50's always kind of messed with Puffy. Like, he's always like joked about him and dissed him and whatever else. So this one time, Roger was telling me how they were going to like MTV, and 50 was there with Tony Yayo and like 10 guys from Queens, right? And Diddy like looked at Roger and said, yo, man, I'm going to punch 50 in the face.
Who said this?
Diddy.
Not 10, not 50. For skincare, not a few. Thousands. People began to inquire. Why would a mature man require so much baby oil? For what reason would they be concealed? What caused some bottles to be kept in boxes without labels and without manufacturer information? The rumors then took a drastic turn. Insiders started coming forward under false pretenses. Former event workers, security contractors, and assistants. Stories started pouring into the underground blogs, one after the other. Tales of covert gatherings when baby oil was utilized for darker purposes rather than massages or lighting effects. Parties where young people, some of whom were hardly in the profession, were brought into rooms and never looked the same again. Where phones were stolen and where non-disclosure agreements were signed at the door. The baby oil was no longer a joke. It represented excess, concealment, and power. Additionally, 50 Cent was well aware of his actions. That spoof, that video, wasn't a joke. The message to the industry was coded. Do you understand what this means? You are aware of his actions. You've been aware for many years. Diddy's group attempted to dismiss it with humor, declared it to be juvenile, defamatory, and actionable under the law. Denial, however, was insufficient to return the toothpaste to its tube. The damage was already done. The entire world had witnessed it. More significantly, the industry insiders who had previously been too scared to speak were now more confident. Because what was stopping the others from taking a shot like that if 50 Cent, with his enormous fan base and impenetrable character, could? The wave then arrived. Last month, artists started like posts that they would not have otherwise. Former bad boy artists' encrypted tweets began to surface again. The comments beneath 50's tweets were warnings rather than merely laughing. Emojis, he's aware that it's finally surfaced.
Drive-by shooting in Los Angeles in 1997, and no one has ever been charged for pulling the trigger. This all happened during really the height of the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry of the 90s, which involved Suge Knight, who we mentioned earlier. 50 Cent has also accused Diddy of orchestrating the murder of death row rapper Tupac Shakur, who died in 1996 in a Las Vegas drive-by shooting. This is Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He was arrested in September 2023, and he is the only person facing charges related to Tupac's murder. But 50 Cent has continued to push the allegation that Sean Combs either knows something or did something for Tupac to end up dead, though Diddy has denied that. But in a 2023 Instagram post, 50 wrote, "Damn, so Pac got lined by Brother Love, LOL, time to lawyer up, expletive might get sticky," with a pic of Suge Knight in a car with Tupac. Diddy, who has a lot of names, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, and Brother Love is one of those other names. Now, from Diddy's side of things, again, he's denied having anything to do with Tupac's murder, and he's also denied having anything to do with Christopher Wallace's death, and he's denied publicly having issues with 50 Cent. Here's what Combs said when he was asked about a beef with 50 in a 2018 interview with the radio show The Breakfast Club, Power 105.1 FM.
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
with Fifth. He loves me. He loves me.
Do y'all really
can't
have a
see it.
beef?
I mean, y'all can't see it.
No, we can't
Y'all
see
can't
it,
see
man.
that he loves me.
Y'all- but see-
You really, hold on, you really think that's hate?
If you look at 50's social media, you can see he has a lot of posts about Diddy. And this is what he posted the day that federal agents in Miami raided Combs' mansion ahead of his arrest on the charges that he's now on trial for. 50 Cent posted on X, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." 50 Cent also included a link to his G-Unit clothing brand in that post. While Diddy in the Breakfast Club clip said that 50 Cent actually loves him and there was never a beef, on the stand this week, Capricorn Clark said otherwise. Clark said that she was at this press event at MTV with Diddy and 50 Cent was also there, all of this happening in New York. Clark said, quote, "After the interview wrapped up, myself, Puff, and Chris Lighty got in the elevator." Clark said that Lighty was an entertainment manager who, on paper, was managing Diddy at the time, but was also 50 Cent's manager at the time. Prosecutors asked Clark what happened in the elevator. And she said, quote, "Puff told Chris, because they were having some sort of issue, like, I really don't like all the back and forth. I don't do that. I like guns." The prosecutor then asked, "What's the issue with an individual?" And Clark responded, he had an issue with 50 Cent. She said Combs was very serious when he said that. In this case, it has become common to hear testimony from witnesses about alleged threats by Diddy. In fact, several witnesses have said that Diddy regularly threatened to fire people, to beat people, like his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and in this case, making a threat involving firearms to settle a dispute per the testimony.
This is only the start. Diddy 2, the man who used illusion, intimidation, and image to build an empire. He broke numerous rumors started to circulate from within his personal circle. He stormed out at his PR staff, blamed his own lawyers of setting him up, trashed his phone in a fit of passion, and wanted to know who was leaking things to 50 Cent, according to sources. According to one source, it was the first time they had ever seen genuine terror in his eyes. Diddy was afraid of more than just a meme. He was afraid of what the meme stood for. He was aware that 50 Cent had unlocked an unstoppable floodgate. In one courtroom, the verdict might have cleared him, but a new era had just begun in the court of public opinion. And still circling were the feds. During such raids, a number of odd objects were seized, including the baby oil stash, hard drives, cameras, unlabeled tapes, bank ledgers connected to private aircraft, and unidentified visitors were all present, and 50 was always there, magnifying the leak, twisting the knife, and making sure no one forgot. This was more than just trolling for 50. It was war. A conflict stemming from years of silent strain, gossip, and hushed cautions among artists. And now, he was in control. Because the video was no longer making people laugh. They had questions. To what extent does this go? How many were aware? For what duration has this occurred?
Someone who was one of his closest associates for more than a decade, invoking gun violence and some sort of veiled threat. That could be scary for some, but apparently not 50 Cent. On Instagram, 50 posted right after his name came up in the courtroom, quote, cut, wait a minute. Puffy's got a gun? I can't believe this. I don't feel safe, with a picture that looked like an AI image of 50 Cent on a movie set looking serious. And he wasn't done. Shortly after that, he posted another AI image on Instagram of him in a Yankees hat with a very scared look on his face with the caption, "Oh my goodness, itty bitty Diddy wants me dead. I have to lay low," sad face emoji. "I think I'm gonna hide out at the playoff game tonight, LOL." Then the next day he posted what he did that night. He went to the NBA playoff game between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers in Indiana. And you can see him here in a picture on the floor in a shirt that reads, quote, "Free Diddy playing into the trolling that 50 Cent has done to Sean Combs over the years, even before Combs was ever accused of what he is on trial for. Now, Combs' trial is expected to last another month at least. He's charged with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pleaded not guilty. Join us now to talk more about the trial of Sean Diddy Combs and everything that's going on inside the courtroom. Zoffy Patterson, civil and criminal defense attorney. Thanks for taking the time to be with us. We're focusing on what was a minor moment in the grand scheme of everything we heard in the trial this week, but there's this anecdote that Capricorn Clark told about what related to 50 Cent, but what Diddy allegedly told 50 Cent's manager at MTV during her time of working for Diddy. What did you make of that? Sean Combs saying, I don't like the back and forth, but I like guns.
You know, I think it goes to the overall case. They've been saying that Diddy was a dangerous guy. If he made a threat, he could back it up. And I do recall reading that she said that his demeanor was very, very serious. And knowing his history, his violent history, knowing about the beef between Biggie and Tupac, I think that it probably frightened her. And I think that just again, her knowing about his violence, his propensity for violence, his behavior with her, his behavior with Cassie, his behavior with other employees, he's just continually reinforcing that violence. So I think it was a really good moment for the government.
Yeah, it's just, and it seems like there are these little moments along the way where there are some celebrity names that pop up. This case, it was 50 Cent. We heard earlier in the trial, Usher and Neo were at a dinner where Cassie was allegedly assaulted. It was unclear whether they saw that, but it was said that they were there. As far as the history of 50 Cent and Diddy, do we know how it started? I know that 50 Cent had a diss track, I think around 2006.
And above all, why does 50 Cent have the courage to speak up? And then there was a collapse. Perception, not on paper or in court. Brands began to retreat. Collaborations were removed from the archives of fashion partners. Donations were turned down by charities. Streaming services started modifying their algorithms. Slowly and quietly, Diddy was being wiped out. Additionally, 50 Cent continued to communicate and publish. However, Jaguar Wright stepped forward, so he wasn't alone this time. Once more, Cassie's name became popular. Even Diddy's former celebs, people who had previously depended on him for their careers, started to take small steps, severing connections, unliking and unfollowing. This was no longer merely a feud. It was a reckoning, and through it all, Diddy sat in his house, encircled by the shadows of the empire he built on secrets, silence, and paranoia. 50 Cent made sure the world saw the true punishment exposure Evan. Though the verdict cleared him, it's being fully viewed without the spotlight, without the cuts, without the shield. Because sometimes the harshest punishment isn't going to jail. Finally, out in the open, just a man and his secrets. And that might be the one thing Diddy can't handle.